The Charvel 750 XL is a high-quality Japanese made guitar that is most famously played by arguably the greatest guitarist in the history of the world, Shawn Lane, during his Powers of 10 tour in the early 90s. And he's mainly seen playing this guitar a lot in his live tour. You can check it out all on YouTube. Most of this information I'm about to tell you can be found in the link below this AudioZone link. All right? The 750 XL is called the Les Paul Killer because basically it had the Les Paul specs. It had the mahogany body with the maple cap, it had the rosewood fretboard, and it had the mahogany neck. It was set neck as well, and also had the Gibson 24 3/4 scale length. The guitar was produced in the Japanese Chusengaki factory, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correct, but it's only made for just a little over 1 year between late 1988 and early 1990, and there are a few variations between it, and it eventually turned into the Jackson Professional Soloist Archtop, which is a little different than the 750 XL, but does have some similarities. The bevels on the early 750s weren't quite as deep as you can see in the picture on the right, whereas the later ones, they're a little more deeper, and also the one on the left, this is kind of similar to the one that Shawn Lane had. He had a little deeper bevels on it with the cutaways and also the trans amber finish. We had it was mahogany and then maple top. The earlier 750s were top mounted and flush mounted, and you couldn't pull back on them. The later ones, like on the right, it was recessed and you could pull up a little bit on them. Much like other Japanese factories at this time, they weren't always advertised correctly. So like these guitars are supposed to all have a mahogany base and then a maple cap, right? What I've noticed is the ones that have the trans amber finish or some kind of like a flame maple top, those indeed did have the mahogany main body and then the flame maple cap. However, the ones that just had a regular finish on them, like a Desert Crackle without the flame maple, those ones look to be basswood or alder with a maple cap. That's what we kind of see with this picture right here. Obviously, it's a maple cap, but not a mahogany base. The 750s were pretty thick and had a lot of weight to them as well. As you can see, you got the mahogany here in the maple cap. On the left, that's a 750. On the right is what eventually turned into was the Jackson Professional Soloist, Archtop Soloist. As you can see, it's not quite as thick. The earlier models also had a little different cutaway near the knobs. You can see this one it just looks a little different than the right one, 180-degree recess. The other one had a full 360. Here's a later pic of Shawn Lane. This is when he also played his Vigier guitar, the ones that are made in France with carbon reinforced necks, but he still has a 750 is what it looks like. But he really made this popularity grow on this guitar. I think if it wasn't for Shawn Lane, they had about the similar popularity as probably like the Charvel Model 6, which is an also great Japanese guitar. You know, these Japanese guitars are made incredibly well, and the list price of these were, over $1,000, I'm pretty sure, back in 1990. And you didn't really see a lot of super strats like this at the time. So there are some with the short scale Gibson length, the 24/7/5 scale length, but most of them had the maple necks and general super strat stuff. This one had, the mahogany body with the maple cap, flame maple. Also had the full mahogany back neck, not a maple back neck. It was full mahogany rosewood fretboard, right? So it's pretty interesting. Also, they came with the hardtail and Floyd Rose, right? But if you want to go into extreme details, click on the link below. It tells all about the pickups. It was Jackson and the Floyds and all. It goes into extreme detail with the neck thickness. But here's just a little brief insight. Hope you guys liked it. If you have anything to add to us, comment below.